Grace Van Dien, an actress best known for playing Chrissy in season 4 of Stranger Things, has decided to focus on Twitch streaming rather than a career in Hollywood after a producer made an inappropriate sexual request to her. She described the experience on a recent Twitch stream. Take a look.
Turning down acting projects and deciding to stream more. But the fact of the matter is, the last few projects I've worked on, I didn't have the best experiences with some of the people I had to work for. And with streaming, I get to choose who I hang out with, who I talk to, etc., etc. Yeah. One of the last movies I did, one of the producers asked me to, he hired a girl that he was sleeping with, and then he had her ask me to have a threesome with them. So, that's my boss. And then I didn't, and I cried, and I was so upset.
Van Dien goes by the username BlueFille on Twitch, where she has almost 300,000 followers. She plays video games like Fortnite and Valorant on stream. However, she also said she's not fully done with acting just yet. Quote, "I'm developing my own projects. I'm hoping that someone decides to fund them because then I can be in control of my own set. And I'm not gonna ask my actors to sleep with me." That's a quote from Variety. And here's a tweet that she sent out. "As I get older, my work priorities are changing. I'm waiting for the right project, the right people to work with. It's nice to feel calm." And then tweeted the following: "Monsters and Muses, a short film I directed, produced, and acted in. More of this," and lots of awards from different film festivals. This is the situation, leaving mainstream Hollywood for the control of Twitch. Seems to me also like a wild place, but curious your thoughts.
Yeah, so I'm fascinated by this story because I think it's a culture clash that that's very ever present, but rarely discussed. So there's the old world and the new world, and my cutoff for that roughly is 45 years old. If you're above 45, you grow up on TV, you grow up in a different top-down culture. We tell you what to do and you listen, okay? Under 45, you grow up on the internet and you're not having any of that, right? It's more rebellious. Now, some of the rebellions lead in the wrong direction, QAnon and that kind of nonsense, right? Some of the rebellions lead in the right direction. So here is the clash of those worlds, because of all places, historically, one of the most conservative, disgusting places has been Hollywood. Now, why do I say conservative? Because the bosses were allowed to get away with the worst kind of abuse of their employees. So now sexual harassment is a giant part of what sexual assault is, etc. That part I naively didn't even know as I tangentially worked in the industry in a couple of jobs. But the other part of it, everyone was aware. The other part is the verbal harassment. So if you're from the new world and you've never experienced that at a job, you would be bewildered by what happened in Hollywood. And that still happens to some degree. But by the way, the older generation is bewildered by the younger generation. So if you work on a movie set or a TV show, not every time, but a significant majority of the time, you'll be deeply humiliated, shamed, yelled at for ridiculous reasons. And you'll have to kiss people's ass in the most dehumanizing ways. It's just abuse after abuse. And the industry in Hollywood thinks, oh, that's perfectly normal. What do you mean? That's the most normal thing in the world.
Pay your dues.
Yeah, pay your dues, right? And if a young person complains, hey, I don't want to be humiliated in front of the whole set, they're like, oh, get out of here. They don't know how to work hard. No, wait, that doesn't have anything to do with working hard, right? So there's a giant culture clash. So she's got a little bit of fame there, right? Stranger Things and done a couple of, apparently a really interesting, smart person, right? So she's like, wait, you want me to sleep with you? No, weirdo perv, I'm not gonna do that. And old Hollywood's like, what? Now we can't even sleep with our young actresses? So when I worked in TV for a second, the verbal stuff was normal, very, very, very normal. And by the way, overt
the verbal abuse,
the overt racism, sexism, etc., all that stuff was normal. I remember an executive, a cable executive, saying, "Oh, we can't have that New York look for a host," meaning Jewish, right? And I was like, I I literally raised my hand because that's the kind of guy I am. I'm in like this big meeting and stuff, and I'm like a tiny like junior writer. I'm like, sorry, but isn't the #1 show on TV Seinfeld? Okay, and then they said, oh, we need a more Midwestern look. You want to know what the translation to that is? Not black. Okay, I'm like here, and they're like, God damn it, what's this guy gonna say this time? I'm like, isn't the #1 show in daytime Oprah? Right? And so that stuff was so normal, right? But now the young people are saying, no, it ain't normal to me, man. No, you don't get to sexually assault me, and you don't get to treat me like dirt.
Yeah. And it's crazy because some of the vestiges of old Hollywood are still here, and I still, as an actress, I have to deal with that stuff. I mean, the fact that Harvey Weinstein was flat out raping actresses for decades and everybody knew it. Everybody in the business knew it and nobody did anything. That's how toxic this business was, and it's a paradigm change. It takes a long time to turn the train that's been going 100 miles an hour into like, hey, I'm a producer, and if I want to bang my actresses, I can. You know, if I want to ask my actresses to be in a threesome, she should be in a threesome with me. That was the world that we lived in. I mean, James Hong, who I just saw, won the SAG award. Incredible. This guy has been working in TV and film since the 30s. Has insane stories about racism in Hollywood. He was in like yellow face movies, like playing a background actor where the lead was like Charlton Heston with his eyes taped back, being like, I'm a Chinaman. Like, this was Hollywood for years, and it's crazy. And it takes a long time to turn the train. But I think you're right. I think the younger generation is like, no.
Right.
Because like I've been in situations where like, I remember I got into it with a hairdresser. She was older, and I said, I'm not really sure this style is working. And she said, you know what, you're not high enough on the call sheet to make comments like that to me. And I was like, excuse you? I'm not high enough on the call sheet to comment about my own hair? That is such an old school way of thinking. And if I brought that to a producer today, she would be fired. She would be fired. But but obviously at a point, it was fine for her to say things.
And
like
so
that.
luckily now, she gets to go on Twitch. People get the opportunity to do whatever they want to do, and then have millions of people being sexist and racist towards them, but at least they're not their bosses.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.